Do not disturb. And I had to change my comments for I don't know why I keep defaulting to private.
I had to put on my phone do not disturb, and I had to send the text to my husband to not disturb.
I like it. It's weird that the comments always defaults to the private. So,
Yeah,
so you
you always
only
have to click that little box.
so you were seeing my comments last night, but no one else was.
Yes.
But I could do that if I was trying to be like,
That's how we could like talk smack. Hi, Josh.
"Hey, good morning, Josh."
So, Jason, I have a travel related question that is not in the broadcast because I
Oh,
haven't done it yet and I've heard other people talk about it. And I know Mark Pizzo asked the question. What entails doing the Bahamas health certificate and when does it need to be done by?
so I was gonna wait until 30 days out before to see if Royal Caribbean was gonna give us any guidance. We're at 32 days out right now, so I guess I'll if I don't hear something by the end of the week, I'll probably do it this weekend. I've not done it yet, but apparently it's really simple. It's very inexpensive, and you just like send a picture of upload your passport, upload a photo of your vaccination card. Within a couple days, they just email you a little QR code that says, "There's your healthy visa." So,
Nice.
yeah,
Jeff
so
says it's not hard. Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
I haven't done mine yet, but I think there's a small fee. Oh, right, $40. Yeah, so it's not much. And Royal Caribbean is going to give you onboard credit on the
Amazing.
adventure to offset that application fee.
Oh. So
Yeah,
it's on board credit OBC?
so they say. So they say.
You don't sound very confident in that.
Uh, let's just put it this way: I can check into my July celebrity cruise right now. I cannot check into my June Royal Caribbean cruise right now. So.
Jason, somebody on your Twitch is trying to sell us followers.
Can we block that person? I'm gonna mark it as spam.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Here, we're gonna just do that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You know,
Cool.
that is so funny. And that's such a misconception now in the social media space because, that follower count, while it's important, more and more people, you can actually look up any user online as to what their engagement rate is.
Oh, I mean, I see people on Instagram that have 10,000 followers, but they get 20 likes on photos.
Yeah, that's how you know.
And if you don't know, now you know, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Sorry, cabinet
They
battle.
did buy followers from that woman.
Awesome. Yeah.
Good
So
morning.
I guess I'm gonna probably do my visa thing soon. Like I said, I was kind of waiting on
Hi,
Royal
Emmy.
Royal to give us some type of guidance, but there's been nothing. So I'm gonna email. I'm gonna email my contacts at
Yeah,
Royal.
this whole piece has just kind of given me a little bit of agita because while I'm not like
Yes.
a hyper planner, like planning every minute of my day, I like to have my bearings,
Right.
like those basic fundamentals. And I don't know if I told you, Jason, but I'm actually in the process of potentially developing an app with somebody, a travel
Okay.
app that'll store,
Okay.
like, all your confirmation codes, and then you can put in, like, embassy information or it can automatically pull, like, it's this whole one-stop shop kind of thing.
I gotcha. Okay.
SXM won't even let you apply for a visa until 2 weeks out. Ugh, so much confusion. It's one of those things where you're just like, "I wish everybody could get on the same page."
Yes.
But that's why we have this travel show. That's why
That
it's
is
here.
that is it.
Hello, Captain Rehab. He said, "Hi, Auntie Haley and Uncle Jason, the destroyer of my
Oh,
Alaska
I'm
2021
so
cruise season win."
sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, would you rather me lie to you?
This is true. What are you, Jason? Fair,
Balanced
balanced.
and unafraid.
Well, Jason, it is the top of the hour, so we are going to get rocking and rolling here. You can start with intros.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Today in Travel show. We do this every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central Time. We
You got
get
it
on,
right.
I got it right finally. We get on for about 20, 30 minutes to kind of bring you all things travel, land resorts, Europe land travel, flights, cruises. I am Jason Poole with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. I specialize in all-inclusive resorts. I specialize in European land travel and cruising. And my co-host, my better half, is Miss Haley Whiting. How are you doing, Miss Haley?
I'm good. So my name is Haley Whiting. I'm the president of Hospitality Flair, which is a hotel sales service company. We service all brands from Hyatt all the way down to Wyndham at times, boutiques. And I'm a travel blogger. I've been in the industry for about 14 years. And if you guys are watching this, please feel free to share it on whichever platform you're watching, be it Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We really appreciate it. And like Jason said, we are here every Tuesday, and we do occasionally have after hours like last night. So
That
make
was
sure you
fun.
follow so you can get this. That was such a quick hour.
That was a quick hour. You got somebody drink my martini live. So
Exactly. So, for those of you that are new, this is in general the agenda we follow. We have the hot travel topics, so as the travel news industry is always changing, list of countries you can travel to, a tip of the day from us, a question of the day from us, and then a question of the day from one of our followers in the Today in Travel group. I posted a link over in the comment section. Make sure you guys join. So, are you ready to get this party started, Jason?
let's go. Let's go.
First one's up.
All right. So we're going to go through the news segment pretty quickly because we have some fun questions at the end that we really want to discuss. So real quick, the United States has relaxed some of the travel advisory warnings for travel to the UK and travel to Israel. Israel, you still have to have a family member there or meet some other guidelines by decree of the Israeli government to go. So none of us can be sailing on the Odyssey of the Seas out of Israel. That is open only to Israelis. And the US has lowered the travel warning to the UK, but the UK is still insisting all Americans, vaccinated or not, to quarantine for 10 days, and you have to purchase a day 2 test and a day 8 test before you even get into the country. So slowly but surely, we're getting there.
Slowly but surely. I know when I first saw that article and I saw Israel, I was like, ooh, can I get on a sailing?
No.
Right.
As the rockets are flying over in the Middle East, you know.
I already told you that's a sign that things are getting back.
That's true. So that's some good news. We do have a little bit of bad news to bring you. The governor on the state where Cancun is, I'm going to try to pronounce it.
It's Quintana Roo.
Quintana Roo. They have the cases have been increasing in Cancun. I cannot imagine why. So things are going kind of more of a lockdown. So restaurants and bars are closing. Hotels, things like that are going to have to go back down to 50%, salons at 30%. So things are kind of going in the opposite direction, but this is what happens when you allow people to come to the country without any kind of testing, vaccine. Mexico is just kind of a free for all. So
one of the things I will say on this is if you kind of had your heart set on going to Mexico, because it is nice that you don't have to jump through a ton of hoops to go.
Yep.
Consider, I know that technically Cozumel falls in the Quintana Roo region, but I mean, it's not as busy. It's more laid back. And I don't know if you noticed, Jason, I think you did, because I think you mentioned it to me. A lot more people in Cozumel were wearing masks.
Oh, yeah.
Than in Playa. They are taking that a lot more seriously.
Yes.
So maybe consider consider that, you know,
Yeah. No,
little detail.
I think you're right. So this is an interesting development. MSC and Costa are saying they are going to return to Venice sailings in late June. You might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I thought back in March the Italian government was banning cruises out of Venice. So it's a fluid situation. MSC and Costa seem to think they have the authority and permission and the green light to sail from the canal, but some of the locals are saying no. So right now they're saying we are sailing in late June. So stay tuned.
I mean, I get it. Venice gets really congested, but I mean,
Yes.
that Giudecca Canal is just a beautiful sail. I watched a couple of YouTube videos and I was like, that is beautiful. And I
Do you remember?
believe
Yeah.
what?
Do you remember when Ken did the periscope, like in the
Yeah.
boat getting to his cruise ship? I was like, this is amazing.
It's so cool. I mean, Venice is just so congested. I believe Royal is trying to make another port in Ravenna.
Yes. So yeah. So the
Remember
article,
correctly?
the article that we referenced, very long. We could discuss it for a while. There are lots of compromises in the works, and one of them is to build a cruise port just right outside that super busy part of the canal. So that is one of the options.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense because Venice is one of those destinations I easily think that's in a top 5 that deals with over
Oh,
tourism.
yeah.
So I think it's a good thing. But I do think it's exciting to see ships possibly going out of there, especially
Ah,
with Italy opening back up. We're
I
still waiting
agree.
on those guidelines, but
I agree. So this one's really fast. Disney World and Universal are going to stop doing temperature checks. They're saying they're following the CDC guidelines and saying that the CDC is saying the temperature checks aren't really that useful or necessary anymore. And I totally agree. I think temperature checks are just complete security theater.
well, and
So
and I mean, doing a temp check in June, July, August in Florida, I know I'm hot as I'm so
yes.
hot.
Yeah, it's all security theater. So good for
Yeah.
them for not doing that anymore. Some good news for our Hawaiian viewers. The state of Hawaii is now allowing inter-island travel for vaccinated Hawaiians. So you can now travel within the islands more freely if you've already received your vaccine. So that is exciting for our
Yep, and they're hoping to open that back up to, vaccinated tourists a bit more
Yep.
because currently, if you fly to Hawaii, depending on the island, the only other island you can go to without having to jump through a ton of hoops is Oahu. So if you wanted to like go to Maui and then go to another island, unless you wanted to deal with quarantine, more testing, and jumping through hoops, Oahu is really your only option.
And how do you spell Wahoo?
OAHU.
Oh gosh, it's an inside joke. It's an
Yeah,
inside joke.
Jason,
Okay.
Jason, if you ever notice if we talk about Hawaii, Jason will not pronounce the names. I will be pronouncing those.
Yep. Yep. I really struggle. I really struggle with 4 letters in an alphabet. So, Miss Haley, we have the list of countries that are open to Americans.
Yes, we do. So no changes to this yet. I know I keep saying this, but we are just waiting on Italy to give out their official guidelines. Rumors have it that they're going to be added to that 72-hour column. And then I think I'm actually going to probably space this out a bit more by continent.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
I
was
like that.
thinking about that. Guys, let me know your thoughts. And just a quick ad, Israel, Jason and I are both on adventure on June 12th, the first
We
Royal
are.
Caribbean sailing out of Nassau.
We
All
are.
right, let's hop to, so number 10 are the ones that you can go to with a vaccine passport right now officially.
Yep.
But I am so excited for this question of the day for you and I to talk about. And I'm anxious to see what the comment section says as well. So,
Yeah.
what COVID era travel changes are likely here to stay?
So I think we'll kind of start with some of the cruising aspect. I think we've already learned self-serve buffets are very likely gone forever. That's not going to only going to help with COVID. That's going to help with the flu. It's going to help with the norovirus. I mean, noro is just the buffets are a breeding ground of norovirus. So I think self-serve buffets on cruise ships are gone forever. I think cramming everybody into a muster station is gone forever. I think we're going to be doing it on our phone, in our staterooms, go to the muster station, check in, and just see where it is. I think we're going to see that, industry-wide changes. I do think we're going to see people wearing masks on planes, trains, mass transit for maybe forever. In a lot of Asian countries, mask wearing is very predominant, especially during flu season. So I think we'll see that be a thing. I hope the extra cleaning precautions in the hotel world will stay. A lot of hotels have partnered with like Lysol and have little strips on the doors, and I'm like, this room's been clean. So I'm hoping that stays. What do you think? What's going to stay?
So I always laugh at the hotel part because while we did get more concentrated chemicals, overall the procedures aren't that different.
Okay.
A lot of it is also theater to a degree. Like if you see a hotel that's partnered with Lysol and the Mayo Clinic, that makes you feel pretty safe and pretty good.
It does.
I think we're going to continue to see an increase in digital check-in. The keyless, using your keyless entry with the phones. I think I see more. So one of the trends that we're expecting to see on the hotel side is we're expecting that there is going to be a forever decrease in normal business transient travel. However, the increase we're seeing, which necessarily isn't bad, and it's actually kind of great, and Marriott's new CEO was talking about it, is that we're seeing an increase in workcations where people are, going to one area for work and then they're staying through the weekend, having their family come down part of the way, or just bringing their family, which is great for hotels because that's a longer length of stay on a reservation, which is less money in housekeeping costs and whatnot. So I think seeing more workcations, the digital side of things, digital ordering at hotels is going to be here to stay, and as well the mask wearing. I know that I personally will probably mask up on a plane for most of the foreseeable future.
I agree. It's just wearing a mask is not that big of a deal. I agree with Cruise Life Rick. Improved ventilation. A lot of cruise ships have updated their ventilation systems, and the new cruise ships are built with this kind of pandemic world in mind, and they have better filtration systems. I mean, the fact that we haven't seen mass breakouts of COVID on flights, and a lot of flights have been very full, shows that the mask and the upgraded ventilation in flights, because planes have pretty good ventilation systems for the most part, work. Like it really works. Yeah.
And I think with that increased demand in the air travel has kind of added that truth, because we've talked about this on an earlier broadcast when I was on that panel with Roger, who is the U.S. Travel Association president. He was talking about his convo with Delta CEO. He's like, if it was so unsafe to travel, why don't I have mass breakouts amongst my flight attendants that are on 5 to 6 different flights a day sometimes in different areas? So I think that's super exciting. I think there's a lot of great things coming out of it. I won't lie. I kind of wish that the schools in the future will keep the masks up, because my child, being in class 4 days a week, has not brought anything home, which has been fantastic.
I know so many people who are like, I haven't been sick in a year. It's been great. So so I think those are some of the changes that are here, that are going to be here to stay.
Exactly. So let's roll into our tip of the day. Exchange currency at a bank. So this goes both ways, Jason. I know that you originally taught me that you purchased some of your euros at the bank before you go.
Yep. So you literally can do it on the app. You just purchase the currencies. The bank I use gives me the option of a mix, all small bills or all large bills. I typically do a mix, and I place an order for, however much I want to buy, 500 euros, 1,000 euros. And within normally, I think it's like 2 business days that it's ready for me at the bank. And so I always do it. I think it's easier than getting to Europe and doing the conversion at the airport. It just saves time. That way, when you land, you can just get in your taxi and start your vacation immediately.
Absolutely. It's so key when you're traveling out of the country to have some currency on hand. And if you
Yes.
are actually overseas and you run out of currency, your best exchange is actually going to be at a bank ATM
Yes.
versus going to a currency conversion place. Those are always the biggest ripoffs. Never do them at the airport unless you are in complete dire straits.
Right.
But the lowest conversion rate is going to be at an ATM. So
Right. Yeah.
keep
No.
that in mind. I thought that was a fun one. And when I was thinking
I
of
like
it, I
it.
was like, Jason, you kind of introed this to me, and then we've developed it along the way.
No.
All right. I need a sip of coffee for this one.
Oh, so I'll tee it off, and since you're the hotel guru, I will let you take it.
All right.
So Richard asked in our Facebook group todayintravel.live, and he asked last night during our informal happy hour or informal cocktail Q&A session we did last night. He was just saying, with cruises, you typically want to book as early as you can. Because you can, keep repricing with cruises all the way up until final payment. So typically with cruises, the earlier you book, the better rate you get for the most part. So is the same true for booking hotels? So he has a cruise that departs out of Miami in spring 2022. And when he asked the question, that was the first day he could book a room at the hotel where he wants for a Marriott property. And he thought the prices were really high. Do they fluctuate? What's the best rate he's gonna see?
Yes, and I guess the biggest way to be able to summarize this, the best way, pardon me, is that these fluctuate all the time. So hotels usually release inventory a year out, and the rates are based on roughly where the numbers were the year prior, same time year over year. And usually they try to add 10, $20 to that. Like, your goal is to grow year
Right.
over year.
So are hotels in 2022 looking at 2019 rates?
Yes, we're not going to consider 2020. And I mean, you're seeing a lot of big markets. Even Cancun, for example, has seen for the month of March, they had a 5% increase over 2019 numbers, which is
Okay.
astounding to say. I mean, not every market has that pleasure right now. But overall, most hotels across the board are not going to see 2019 rates until about 2023 right now. But in big areas like Miami and whatnot, you're going to see that push because there's always going to be that compression. Because I think you mentioned March, April, that spring break time, that is peak season for Florida. Those are going to be some of your highest rates during the year, and they're going to try to push and get whatever they can get. So my recommendation is to always book direct. book direct unless you can get a really cool package deal with Jason or something like that.
I mean, sometimes I can, but I mean, I book a lot of my clients' bookings directly, right? A ton I do directly. Yeah.
So part of the reason I mentioned that, and I also try to stay away from advanced purchase rates, the prepaid rates, while they might look tempting because they're a little cheap. I just like flexibility. So what I recommend is snag that room first, roughly when it comes out, kind of like Richard did. But check it every so often, because what happens is as you get closer and closer to the date, and I'm going to talk roughly that 60-day and under window, if the hotel's not picking up, they will start dropping rates a little bit. And if you have a non-prepaid hotel reservation, you can just rebook at the cheaper rate. Or you
So
can
how would you do that? Would you call the hotel to rebook, or would you just cancel and rebook?
So what I would do is I would book the new reservation first before I let go of my old one.
Oh, okay.
You have no idea if somebody is in there changing rates at that point in time, and it can get really messy. And a lot of these hotel systems have a system that it's a computer system that will automatically push the rate if it sees increased demand for the hotel.
Gotcha.
But I would make the new one, then cancel the old one, or you could call the front. Sometimes you get a new front desk person. That's not always the greatest. I like the online option personally.
Yeah,
but I mean, just keep checking it, because most hotels, you're allowed to cancel reservations up to 48 hours in advance. I would check right up through there. Like, I would check once at kind of 60 days, once at 30, and then I would check it during that week if you're really concerned about the pricing.
Okay. Richard, great question.
It was a wonderful one. And I mean, I could dive even deeper into that one. We could spend like an hour or 2 hours. It'd be my TED Talk talking about that.
I mean, but they're like you said last night, there's often 50, 60 plus codes or rate options for hotels, right? You know, travel agents can often get a cheaper rate than direct sometimes. There's packages, there's corporate codes, there's friends and family. I mean, there's so many codes for all the properties.
Yep. And Rick says Baja Mar's up $100 since we booked last month.
Yep. I checked a couple days ago.
I think the Colonial Hilton is completely closed off in Nassau. So that's going to create compression, which is going to force people to other hotels. So, I mean, supply and demand, that's the basis of what it is. But I mean, booking direct, you just get so much more power and leniency. I mean, that it is what it is. And there's so many rate codes. There's not one way to save money. I'm just going to put it out there.
Right.
And sometimes you also need to check, even with your credit cards too. Sometimes, Amex Travel, the Chase rewards, there's options there too. But I could literally do a TED Talk for hours.
Hey, you do give us this information on your TikTok page, your Instagram page, your YouTube page. So you've taught me much about the hotel world.
One of my newest Instagram posts is how to price match from a third party site and what you actually need to do. Because there are rules you have to follow if you're going to price match. Because what people don't realize is they'll book on like Expedia, and they don't realize that Hilton.com has a best price match as long as everything matches the room, the view, the type of rate. And they'll give you an additional 25% off that rate match.
Right.
There's so much.
No, I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, this show was a little shorter than normal. Haley and I both have lots of things we need to get to later this morning. So we made it nice and short for you today. But if you want your questions featured or answered on our show, where do you go? You go to our Facebook group, todayintravel.live. Lots of questions are answered with the community. We've got a great community in there. People post tips, articles, photos. It's fantastic. So todayintravel.live. We do this every Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. We come on for 20-30 minutes and bring you all the latest updates in travel. So
join that group and ask your friends to join too. This group is not about Jason and I just constantly talking at you. Like, there's so many things for the High Five Award, Rick. There's just so many people that answer questions. I know somebody asked about like a hotel Wi-Fi, and my husband actually has this site that shows you the best hotel Wi-Fi in a specific area, best hotels with the strongest Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow.
You just never know. You never know what you're going to find in this group.
That's awesome. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Haley, it was great as always, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right.